The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 30th day of January, 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sancha Durham, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sister Sancha, happy Monday to you.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Not happy today. Yeah.
And I understand. I always try to reach out. I try not to bother you guys on weekends, even though, you and Maya don't like talking to me on a regular basis. But anyway, but I'm always, whenever I reach out to Sandra, she's always telling me, hey, what's going on? So, I feel like I'm part of her weekend, but this weekend was a tough one, Sandra.
It was. So I feel like Pause has become a part of the Daily Hour family, right? We all know Pause. We have social media questions about him. I've showed him on air, and Pause has been my baby for 13 years. And Pause passed away this weekend. Yeah, it makes me so sad.
No, it made me sad. It struck me. And you're right. Just last weekend, we had a question, a trivia question about Pause, and he definitely was a part of the show. So losing Pause is definitely going to be a miss to all of us. And I honestly, humbly am so sorry for you and Maddox knowing what Pause meant to you guys, and just meant to knowing what dogs mean to families. So
I know sometimes when dogs pass, people are like, it's just a dog. Listen, when you have a dog in your family for so long, they are truly your best friends. It hurts. Yeah.
It's again, I don't have a dog. I kind of do when I'm in Bermuda. Bella is my dog.
Bella's your baby.
Yeah, she is, and everybody thinks, oh, he doesn't like dogs, but he loves Bella. But
Bella.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I'm an irresponsible adult, so I think I love dogs that I don't have to make sure I have to take her up 24/7. But I just know, Sancha, you told me the story of how you got Pause, so I just know from that how much
came in a very difficult time in my life, and he just made everything better. Like, he's been through so much with me, the traumatic events and birth of my child, and my brother went through a lot. Pause was just such a sweet, emotional, loving dog, and he was there for everyone. So yes, he's gonna be a miss, and I'm so sad because it was so unexpected. But thank you.
Yeah, Angeline Butler says, I feel you, Sancha. I haven't had a dog since 2002 when our dog passed, and it was the worst feeling, so I get it.
Yeah.
I honestly, I just backstage just now, Sancha, when Maya is, if you all know Maya is, she's very, how can I put it? Emotion-wise, she gets pets, and just, you felt her emotion through
We
Nice.
were just with Maya last week, Maddox and I, buying him a new bed, a new kit, and Maya was helping us, right? So she got to experience Maddox being so excited to buy stuff for his dog, and just last week, so she gets
Yeah.
it.
Well, thank you, audience. Honestly, Sam Cat Place, thank you. She says sorry to hear, condolences, as well as Nicole Walker. Thank you, condolences to you, Sanjay. I know your pain, having experienced the same twice. So thank you guys for
Thank you, everybody.
for recognizing
I'll
this.
probably be crying throughout the show, but I'm here. I showed up for you.
And that's the thing. I don't want to say, Sanch, no, you don't have to do this. Like, some people, we just spoke about grief, right? And everybody deals with it their own way. So I leave that decision was on Sancha. Thank you, Charles and Adeline. You all are awesome. Seriously. Any kind words you all could share. Trust me, they are helpful. And greetings, everyone. Thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today, as we discuss whether or not Bermuda businesses need a web presence to remain competitive, before focusing on what, if any, other jurisdictions should Bermuda try to replicate. So 2 interesting questions this morning. The daily play is things, well, we're going to talk about, what is it? It's Monday. So today's daily play would be, who said it? Yes, who said it? Who said it? Yeah.
And I totally let that go over my head last week. I had an idea, but with these daily plays, I get all nervous and I'm like, eh.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
let
Here
you and
we'll
Sherry
work it out today.
have rubbed off on Larry. I'll leave it at that. But don't forget, folks, the show is now available live on our website, thedailyhour.com. You no longer need social media to tune in live to us. So if you haven't already, while you're on our website, please subscribe and follow us on our social media channels. We started the show off a bit sad. And we want to uplift and as much as possible, but at the end of the day, we can't escape realities that we all go through in life. So that said, Sancho, I have a joke.
Okay.
All right, it's joke
Let's
time,
do it.
folks. It's joke time. I don't think Maya's gonna join us for this one, so let's have a joke.
Okay.
Aha!
Oh, goodness.
this,
Make
this is
me
a good one.
smile.
This is a good. Maya might was on it. This is a good one. This is a good one. Okay. Hold on. Let me get my music ready. Okay. How can you take a bath without water?
A bird bath. No, that's still water. Without water. How can you take a bath without water? A sun bath.
Wow, she got it.
I got
Wow. Oh, wow. But you killed the joke. Gee. What a way to go. Okay, all right.
it.
Kill the
Wasn't
joke.
funny though.
Nah, I thought it was gonna be a fun one.
I felt like that was more trivia than a joke.
Yeah, she got it. She got it. Sancha got it. It was sunbath. Yeah, sunbath. Sam Cat Play says she would have never guessed it. Look at that. She says she would have never guessed it. All right, let's get to today's question. So, folks, first of all, happy belated birthday to Damon Wade, former chairman of the PLP. Also, I'm sure Maya's going to have more in her news break as well. But Dage Minus, my goodness. Sanja, he ran a mile in under 4 minutes.
When I saw that, right? Maddox and I were having discussions because he's like competing for cross country. He's like, Mommy, I just have to do under 11 minutes. And I'm thinking to myself, well, Dej could do it in 4. That's so impressive.
I don't think people understand.
Insane. I remember when I was younger just trying to do like under 7. So under 4, like you're literally sprinting. Like sprinting.
Sandra.
That's quick. It's like the Flash.
Yeah.
It's the Flash minus.
I'm happy for him. And I just hope that people, we discussed Friday about funding. I really hope that people get behind him. I really hope that, for me, the Olympics next year, he can keep, if he's got the funding behind him, he can focus full time on really training, preparing his body, his mind, and really give us another shot at a podium, getting on the podium at the Olympics. So I'm sure, like I said, Maya will talk more about that. But this morning's first question, the discussion, I saw something on Twitter this weekend. A person had tweeted that, how does Ice Queen have a working website and another tech company in Bermuda doesn't? And we've had this conversation on this show before. Do you believe a business needs a website to be successful? Which, again, the majority of the businesses that I support in the United States do not have websites. And I think Bermudians, I guess because of Amazon and Target and Walmart, like, I go right down the street to Target. I don't use a website. But what I will say is, while I was in Bermuda in December, I was impressed. And I'm not just saying this because she's in the room, but I was impressed that I could go online, book an appointment to nail bar. Like, it was seamless. Like, serious. I'm being dead serious. If Sancho was not here, I would say it the same, right? Like, it was just, I didn't think it was a Bermudian company the way how easy it was. And that's no disrespect, but I just said, well, no, there are Bermudian businesses that you can do stuff online and it works out, da 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 da. So that said, my cleaners, gas station, where I get my smoother sometimes, none of these places really have websites or apps. You know what I'm saying? But I think we've fallen in this trap in Bermuda, very tiny, small Bermuda, where get your lazy ass up, go 5 minutes, it's there. But I understand convenience, right? I understand convenience, but do Bermudian businesses need a web presence to remain competitive? Like, are we saying we're buying on Amazon because a Bermudian business doesn't have a website? Like, is that what we're saying? Because based on the complaints I see about the shipping companies in Bermuda and customs in Bermuda, is it really that much better?
So I say yes and no to this question. I think it depends on the industry that you're in, and how you market yourself. Because if you can kind of turn this around and say, like, in this techie world, we are not this techie place and we do not have a website, come see, feel, be a part of us and enjoy our customer service, then that's one thing. People aren't expecting it from you. But then I also feel like if you're in an industry such as like retail, and sometimes it's just easier for, and the time that you have. For me, I can't shop regular times, but once I get home and I get my son settled, and that thing that I forgot today, if I can go online and I can just order it and have it delivered, whether we're in Bermuda or somewhere else, it's about convenience. I think we're all about convenience these days, right? But I also think that people have to understand that in Bermuda, our businesses tend to be small, and you need a whole nother department. It's like running a whole nother business. So you have your storefront that you are making sure, everything is taken care of. And that background work, it's just as much as what you've done for the front end. Like, I know when I was doing the garage, which is kind of on a hiatus right now, once we received the merchandise and I set up the store and everything's there, I'm just like, can you please come in and shop? Because I now have to go on the back end, add everything, the descriptions, the prices, it's a lot of work. So because some businesses are so small and you're expecting them to have an online presence and a storefront, we need more employees. So
I agree with what you said from jump, Sancha. Like you said, depends on industry. Like I think that's the qualifier right there for me. I think if you're a tech company or sell technical devices or technology, then yeah, I think the expectation is that you would have a functioning website, right? But you also said something that Bermudians have spoken about technology replacing jobs, right? We've had that conversation last week. Well, you do realize the more you go online, the less opportunity. Sancha, did you see last week I shared something, and I thought you would respond to it. But it was basically how this new technology where you design the nails you want, and then you just put your hands under some machine and you get your nails done, like eliminating a nail tech. Did you see that video?
I didn't, but I would hate it.
What that's my point. Honestly, I
I
need
was
that
you
personal
know what? I was just gonna say to you, Nail Bar has a website, right?
touch.
Obviously, there are people that just like to book online.
Mhm,
And, sometimes if you call and we're busy, I get it. After hours, you can go online. But I am that person that when I'm booking my hair appointments, my nail appointments, anything like that, I need to speak to somebody. I am that
mhm,
person. I call. I am not going to go online. Just the other day, I'm, preparing to go away to my friend's wedding and we're getting our hair done in New York. And I'm online booking and I'm booking all these things. And I'm like, no, I can't do this. I need to call her. I
mhm,
had the opportunity to press that button and book, but I always feel like those things are so personal. I need to speak to somebody so we can talk through it, right?
mhm,
So I think it depends on the person and, like you say, the industry
mhm.
as to how we, yeah,
Yeah,
but I
I
would hate
mean,
that putting my nails under and they like, I
no,
don't know.
I agree. It's a difference between like getting my massage thing for my shoulders and actually going to get a massage. Like it's just not the same. I need that personal touch. But I just keep in mind, my job and what I do on a daily basis, I deal with real businesses, small to large. Like when I say small, I'm talking about your mom and pop to large. We're talking about national companies, right? That's what I do in the United States. And I think I'm going to touch on Traveling Trotter's comment. Website presence is essential. Most folks are busy and don't have time to drive and walk around to see the store offers. I see a comment like this, and the first thing I say is, my question to this would be, so would you be okay with additional costs to what it is you're trying to get? Because this stuff's not free. You
Yeah.
already complain about the price of stuff going up, this and that. Are you going to be okay with that tax that they're going to include in that price for that? My point is saying what I do is I actually work with many companies, large and small, that don't have a website presence. And
Mhm.
those companies are booming. I just I don't think we honestly grasp what you said though, Sancha, that sometimes depending on industry, our websites like haven't created a whole new department. That's
It
one.
is.
And two is, we talk about technology, we talk about websites, but then we complain, well, where's the cashiers when you have to go to that store? Well, you all are shopping online, so why do they need cashiers, right? I just think we have to be careful that we don't come across hypocritical. I mean, we are all hypocritical in some respect, but I
My
just
only thing
hope,
is
hope we don't. Go ahead. Sorry.
My only thing is, like I said, in Bermuda, I feel like so in the US, I feel like there are more operating hours. In Bermuda,
Mm,
5 o'clock is 5 o'clock. Like on Saturday, I went into town and I was like, it was 4:45 and I was looking for something to wear to this boxing fight. And everything was closed within 15 minutes. I
mm,
needed that extra time. I probably would have done it online quickly,
mhm,
picked what I wanted, and then just ran and picked it up. I don't know. I think that's probably where you know, Traveling Trot is good with that. Like, listen, for people that are busy, we need extra hours.
mm.
This after hours is when we can actually shop and for convenience.
Isn't that a cultural thing that you would say needs to change, though? I think, and you're right with that respect. And look, it's let, I've lived in 6 different states, and nothing will ever compare to New York City. New York, literally, businesses are open round the clock, right? I mean, moving to Florida and stuff's closed, folks, like I had to get used to it. But then I realized, even in Florida, stuff is open around like the clock, not New York like, right? Or Vegas like, but it's still open longer. And Sancha, you make a great point. It's like a business closes 5 o'clock in Bermuda. Well, you try going there for 4:50, and some of them won't let you in.
Drives me nuts. And you know what? I think that you will find that the difference between like what I would call like a department store and like a boutique connoisseur. Because if you are that store owner and you know you need to that revenue and you're all about that customer service and you understand it, you're more likely to be like, come on, stay until 6 because it's about that customer service. Whereas you're trying to run in the door at 10 and the people trying to get him like, oh, I've been here all day. We're closing. That drives me nuts.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Do Bermudian businesses need a web presence to remain competitive? That's the question. Sean D. Shields for you, Sandra.
Lost business potential and opportunities remain high without having a website presence, but it really depends on what kind of business products and or services are being sold.
Agree. And I think Sancha said that earlier. I agree. Charles H. Jefferson II says, I think a functional website is relative. Retailers should have a website with at least their hours and any specials / offers. The most frustrating thing is going to a website that hasn't been updated. Brother Charles, let me say this much. And I want to share this, me being as honest as possible. So when I'm researching, I'm doing sales. So I'm researching businesses, right? I had to change my mindset because with Google, right? Sometimes you don't need a website for your hours to show up. If you Google a business, it'll just show businesses hours, like you just have that updated. And I used to just, if a business didn't have a website, I would just dismiss it. Then I realized, no, I can't do that. These businesses are operational. These businesses exist. Let me actually reach out to them and, see if there's an opportunity. My mind has changed. 2 years ago, I thought a business had to have a website to exist, right? Think about it. Think Bermuda and US. In the US, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, they don't even take you seriously. Like in certain business applications, they actually ask, what's your LinkedIn link? What's your profile? Please include your profile in your application, right? In Bermuda, some guys just said it last week. Oh, it's like Facebook for corporate, whatever that means, right? And to me, mindsets and cultural mindsets are very interesting. But I honestly, because the more businesses I've dealt with in my capacity in dealing with partnerships, I've realized that I do agree with Brother Charles. It is relative, but you don't need a website for your hours. Google a company that doesn't have a website, the hours would be on Google. It will tell you opens at 9 or closed. And the hours Monday through Sunday. It shows you that. So with that, not actually necessary. But I do believe, Sancha, whether it's e-commerce for selling stuff or just having an up-to-date website, it's necessary. I do believe it's necessary. I believe any business that exists should have some sort of web presence. That's my personal feeling. However, I don't really believe that whether a business has a website or not is going to determine whether people support it. I personally don't believe that. Cherie Dill says, web pages are great for information. I like the personal touch, but also tend to start my research browsing via web before then picking up the phone or visiting in person. Shikarina says, I do look for social media presence for small service-oriented businesses that don't have dynamic websites. Real quickly before we bring Maya in and we get in trouble, I want to say this about social media. If you have a social media page, have a website to direct them to. Why? Your website is your best friend. Because if those social media platforms go down, as we've seen over the last 2 to 3 years, you need to communicate. That's why I keep telling you all, subscribe to our website. Subscribe to our website. Because if anything happens, our social media gets hacked, you still have a way to communicate with us and we can communicate with you. I do not put all my eggs in that social media. Social media is a platform, but it's not direct to us. Let's bring Maya in before Sancha gets in trouble.
Morning, guys.
Morning, Maya. How are you?
Oh, man. I mean, I'm good. I'm definitely good, but Sancha, you're in my heart, for real. I could have come in for that joke. I was in the back crying.
Yeah. I looked down. I said, "Uh-oh, I think Maya's having a breakdown because she turned everything off, folks." And I just know how she feels about pets. So I got you.
Yes.
Let's I mean, I'm not going to say she's young. You're a businesswoman. You're not a journalist. You're a businesswoman. No, you are. You are, right? You're a businesswoman. You have a website for Media Maya, but you have a huge social media presence. How necessary do you believe having your website is to what you do?
I can definitely say it's necessary. Like you said, when the social media and everything does drop, I remember when Instagram went away for like a day or something, and I was a little panicky. And then I was just like, well, and then I went on Twitter. I was just like, follow my website and subscribe and just follow me on TikTok and every other social platform, because obviously this one is down at the moment. So it's necessary to have. I'm not saying you have to use it all the time. If that's not where your following is, then fine, but at least direct them to it every once in a while. Like I sometimes strategically think of, okay, well, how do I put people to my website? Well, I have the articles with Kavina, so blasting them on there, telling people, hey, look at this website, look at this website, look at this article, read this article that's on my website, so people know that I at least have it. So it's definitely necessary to have. I would definitely say for any.
I just thought of something as you were talking. I think a lot of the reasons why a lot of the businesses in Bermuda don't have these fancy websites is web design. It's hard to find someone to create, even if it's just a simple, you know what I mean? So if those people are out there, like make yourself known, because I know there are people that need these websites, but that aren't tacky, but the web design element of it.
What's the guy? SJ World they just announced something. I don't know if it's in people's budgets for that subscription that they got, but I will say they've got what's the Fiverr website where you can find someone real quickly before Maya starts. Charles H.F. II says, but there's hours on Google are scraped from websites. No, I'm talking about the hours for those who don't have websites or maintained by the business owner. Yes, the business actually has to provide. I think actually they pay a service to Google. I could be wrong. But my point is, you can find out business hours without having a website, Charles. So I'll take a screenshot when I'm researching businesses to show you actual businesses that don't have a web presence that have just their hours on Google if you Google them. But yeah, it's interesting what you can learn about a company without having a website. But I just think a web presence can only be helpful. Maya, what you got in the news for us today?
Before I touch on the news, I just want to say what you're talking about earlier about it. Yes, it does. It takes so much time to do a website. And also if you're doing deliveries and trying to build this whole new thing, like you need so many people. I know that because obviously working at Noah's Ark, and we've had to reimagine everything since the pandemic. And it is a lot of work behind the scenes. I will tell you that. Okay, so coming up on the news.
Real quickly before you do.
Yeah.
You just made me think of something saying that, right? Oh, Roslyn Famous says it's free. So it may be free doing Google. Sorry. There you go. But one thing you made me think of, Maya, and I'm sorry to take long, but I actually prefer an app over a website, I use HSBC. We don't have the best relationship, but I'm going to talk about you nice today, all right? HSBC just released last week. You no longer need that stupid little token thing.
Oh, I saw that.
I download the app. Remember, I told you all when we was being irresponsible 2 weeks ago that I hadn't checked my HSBC account all year. I've been on there almost every day since all I need is the app. I don't need that token.
And your balance is up to date?
Player, I'm looking good. I thought I was looking bad.
It annoys me because when I go on the app, because I'm doing so much through my account, my balance is never correct. Ever.
So, I meant nothing. That's why I'm sorry.
Sorry, annoying.
Anyway, I mean, I'm Clarion, so I check that thing every day. I never have to use a token for Clarion, so I do appreciate that service that they have. Okay, coming up on the news this morning, unfortunately, it's been some really bad collisions over the weekend, if you haven't heard about them already. But basically, what happened last night around 11:45 p.m., police received several 911 calls reporting a serious multiple vehicle collision involving 3 motorcycles and 1 motor car on South Road, Southampton, just east of Henry VIII. Details are limited, but it appears a male motorcycle rider attempted to overtake a motor car heading east on South Shore Road when he collided with 2 bikes traveling in the opposite direction. The male motorcyclist who attempted to overtake is described as heavy-set, dark-skinned male and sustained serious injuries in the collision. He was unresponsive and was transported to the ambulance to the hospital. And then one of the other motorcycle riders, also male, suffered minor injuries. It remains unknown whether the third motorcyclist, also believed to be a male, was injured as they were driven away from the scene by someone on another bike not thought to have been involved in the collision. A female motorcar driver did not sustain any injuries, thankfully. And as of 5 a.m. this morning, the scene is still under investigation and the roads are still being blocked. And police do apologize for the inconvenience, but tell everyone that if you have any information, please call 211.
So was it like a hit and run?
No, I don't believe it was a hit and run per se. The person who tried to make the attempt, obviously he was left and other people were there, but it does seem that one person was not on the scene, but is believed to not have sustained any injuries.
Okay.
So he did leave the scene, but other persons were still there.
Okay. Interesting.
That makes me sad.
Very.
And unfortunately, it doesn't get any better because the day before, on Saturday, around 3:30 p.m., police officers responded to another collision on South Road near the junction of Kent on Devonshire. Details surrounding that collision are limited. However, it is believed that 3 people were involved in this collision. 2 adults have been taken to the hospital and treated for their injuries, while described quite serious. And then an 8-year-old child was also reported to be injured in the collision, but believed to have suffered minor injuries.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully everybody heals well.
Yeah, so definitely we need to be careful on the roads. We say it so often on this show, but something's not sticking out there, and we just need to do so much better, Bermuda. But coming up in other news, Bermuda Healthcare Service and the Brown Dow Clinic are pleased to announce the return of a quarterly event called Docs for Dinner, scheduled for February 16th at the Hamilton Princess and Beach Club. Basically, this started in 2008 in affiliation with the world-renowned Leahy Clinic. Docs for Dinner enables local doctors to interact with leading medical professionals from abroad to exchange ideas and cutting-edge medical information.
Good on Dr. Brown and his folks. Especially all that went on with Leahy. Surprised they still want to do business in Bermuda, but good on them.
Now here goes some happier news. I'm trying to bring it to some light and joy, guys. But Dej Miners, yes, is the first Bermudian to run a sub 4-minute mile. To explain how incredible this is, according to this article on trackandfield.com, that about 1,660 persons worldwide have achieved this as of 2021.
How many people?
1,660 persons, just about in that range.
Out of
Worldwide.
Out of 7 billion people, is 7 billion or 6 billion people in the world?
Don't ask me that. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to go with 7 billion people. That's serious. What I will say is, Sanchez said it earlier, that you're basically sprinting a mile, bro.
Yeah.
It is a very hard achievement to accomplish, and most middle distance runners, like, that is their goal, to actually be able to achieve something like that, because it's historic. It was once believed to be almost fatal and impossible to do until someone accomplished it. I believe it was like 1954. I have to look that up again, but it was an exceedingly hard feat to reach. So for him to be able to accomplish that, and remember, he's the first Bermudian to do so, is quite remarkable. And I have a clip for you guys, as I got to have a stroll with Dej before he actually ran this mile, but it was great to see him win, so to push this out. So here's a little promo of the man behind the mile.
Ready to go?
The question that annoys me the most is like 2 days before a race, and it's like, what's your plans for the race? And I'm just like, to win. Like,
who would you say impresses you the most?
Impresses me the most? I don't know. I don't think I'm like not easily impressed. Sorry.
That's cool.
Cause like I don't know. I'm the type of person where like things you should just do. You know what I mean? So I live by, like, you ever heard the saying, like, you don't praise a fish for swimming?
But what's the most beautiful place you've ever ran?
Ooh.
Have any like weird superstitions?
My weirdest superstition is probably that I can't race without my.
You all better go check that out.
It's up live on my YouTube right now.
I started following Dej when he used to run at St. Johnsbury Academy. So my little brother used to run with him, and I used to go to the track meets, and he was awesome then. So I've been following him for a while. I'm so excited for him.
Shawnette Bell says she watched the interview and thoroughly enjoyed it. So go check it out on Maya's YouTube channel. It's Media Maya, right?
Yes, Media Maya, yeah. trying to remember it's Media Dash Maya, but I did do a quick check, and it is 8 billion people in the world right now. So that is just such an incredible feat when you really just sit down and think about that to accomplish something like that. But obviously today is just another goal, and his way to meet the next one. So it's his really interesting person to talk to.
Wow. Let's get that guy some funding. I mean it, folks. There's got to be somebody on Pitts Bay Road that says, you know what? Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, another achievement was actually reached over the weekend as well. Andre Showtime Lamb was the first Bermudian to actually win 2 international boxing bouts in making boxing history. The pro has a record of 7 wins to 0, so he is undefeated, and he has 5 knockouts right now.
Brave guy. Brave guy.
I was there.
You were?
I was, yes.
What was this welcoming? What was the intro like? Because I heard and saw some videos, and he had a very African theme going on.
He had an African theme, yeah. The way that the room was set up, you couldn't really see it, and they didn't have screens so that you can see, but that's just my producer hat on. It was the drummers and the dancers. I didn't see much of it, and when he got in, he had like an African. His boxing, his shorts were cute.
It's definitely an entertainer.
Yeah.
What else you got, Maya?
Well, here's some bittersweet happy news, because as you know, we've heard about a lot of irresponsible pet owners over the last few weeks, especially when it comes to the pit bull breed. But together, there is some positive happy news, as Bullies of Bermuda linked up over the weekend at Botanical Gardens. The social gathering was put on by Jenna and Kaiwan Stevens Cardi, and they were just explaining how they want to have more gatherings like this to help people, become better pet owners, to have the dog socialize more, to get more, exposure of how well trained and actually quite lovely these dogs are. So here's a quick video. I was there, and it was just a serotonin overdose of seeing so many happy dogs just out and about.
That almost made me want to get a dog.
It
was definitely a lot to be housed here in Bermuda. Hang in there, Sandra.
I know, you guys made me cry again.
You know what? Maddox told his uncle Jamal. He told me he wants a pit bull. That's what he told me.
Listen.
So.
It's not gonna happen anytime soon.
Look, I hear you.
Well, how's the weather looking, ladies? Notice I said ladies, not just mine.
I'll make it a habit to keep my head straight.
I know you want to look so badly. So today we got bright skies and a few partly cloud spells maybe coming a little bit later, and we have a high near 70 degrees Fahrenheit today.
All righty, Maya, thank you so much, and we'll see you later this week.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, you're not gonna do this.
Oh my goodness, it's days of the year. What you got for us, Sister Sandra?
Why does he keep doing this?
I was just testing. Oops.
Today is School Day of Nonviolence and Peace. Most people dream of a world being a much safer place to live. Many wish and hope the future generations will inherit a healthy planet that is filled with peace and harmony. And although this change is unlikely to happen in an instant, people can still start now to instill the value in future citizens of the world. School Day of Nonviolence and Peace offers opportunities for children to be taught about peace and nonviolence.
I love this.
Can I tell you, this is very special to me because I was definitely bullied as a kid in school. It was, it was rough. It was so rough, Jamal. So this day, I hope that we can teach those kids that bully some peace and harmony.
No, starts with their parents or guardians.
Yeah.
Maya, thank you so much. We'll see you later this week.
See you guys later.
All right, folks, don't go anywhere. Another good question coming up. We're talking about what jurisdiction, like what destination have you visited that you know of that Bermuda would do well to follow? Interesting responses on our Instagram. We'll go over them next. Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
All righty, welcome back to the big show, Central Durham. I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, you no longer need social media to watch us live. Just go to our website, thedailyhour.com, and you can tune into Bermuda's Daily Talk Show live. If you'd like to engage with us, you still have to use social media, either YouTube or Facebook. It's time for the Daily Focus, and question is very simple. We asked it basically yesterday as well on our Instagram page. Don't forget, we're going to do a giveaway later on. Based on this weekend's question, which was on our Facebook page. So if you haven't checked that out, you can still have time to go between now and the end of the show. But the question is basically, what place have you visited that Bermuda would do well to follow? That's the question. What place have you visited that Bermuda would do well to follow?
You know what I always say? I feel like people came to Bermuda and took our blueprint and it's spread all over the world, and they inherited our hospitality, and now their tourism is booming. And I think it's a matter of us getting back to our basics and knowing our product and who we are, and yeah. But I'd like to hear some of the audience.
Yeah, let me go to Instagram and share what. So we asked this on Instagram, what's a place you visit that Bermuda would do well to follow? And on Instagram, we got Zambia. And I'm interested to know what Zambia does that Bermuda can learn from. Yeah, if the person who shared that, let us know what Zambia does we can do. Another one said Croatia, and I think Traveling Trotty, yes, Croatia, and also Greece. So let us know, Traveling Trotty, what Croatia and Greece do that Bermuda can learn from. And then someone said no place, and I think they missed the question. They misunderstood the question. They said no place. Bermuda needs to start to look within and start promoting our uniqueness and culture and traditions. I guess that still can be replicated. Like, again, there are places that look within and start with promoting their uniqueness, their culture, their traditions. I mean, Jamaica does that very well, right? So I think you misinterpreted the question. It's what's a place you visited that Bermuda would do well to follow? There are many places that already do that. So What are some places that we can do that? What jurisdiction has done that well that Bermuda can look to as an example? I always believe, as we said regarding Michael Jordan last week, I was always told as a child, there's someone out there that was better than Michael Jordan, right? They just never had the opportunity to go to college and play and obviously get drafted. There's always someone you can use as an example. I was saying to a friend yesterday, which I'll share it publicly now, but I was talking to someone in the tourism industry last week here in South Florida, where I'm at. And they asked me, they said, man, when I was younger, this person's in their 60s, right? When I was younger, Bermuda was the thing, the only island you heard of that everybody wanted to travel to. What happened? Now, if I was having that conversation with a Bermudian, my response would have been different. But I had to walk away. I'm not about to, be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? And I felt bad. I'm like, man, I'm hypocritical. So I'm not ready to be honest about Bermuda with somebody that's non-Bermudian. But I say that because I think so many others understand what Bermuda has experienced. Any thoughts on that, Sandra?
I was trying not to say Jamaica because I always harp on Jamaica. And I'm always like, Jamaica is so great, and the hospitality, and I need to know what's going on in Greece. I've never been there, but I keep seeing this Greece popping up in the comments, that it's the place to be. What is so special about Greece that we need to take a page from the book?
Yeah, interesting. Karen Simmons says Zambia and Greece. Yeah, tell us about Zambia. I'd like to know. And what are your thoughts, audience? What's a place you visited that Bermuda would do well to follow? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be very shallow in my comment, and I'm going to use this destination simply because we can. But Jamaica, I just think, I love the way that they operate. I do.
Yeah. I feel like Jamaica has a lot of the what we used to have. You know what I mean? It's that hospitality. You go to Jamaica and it's what can we do for you? And you're feeling the food, the culture, the music, the people. And not everything's great. I mean, you look at it, Jamaica has all these travel advisories right now, but people are still going, right? So they have to be doing something right. And I think it's more about the hospitality. Like, I love that whenever I go to Jamaica, I find that one driver that's going to make you feel like he's taking you to like the soul of Jamaica, so you can feel the people, and you're going to discover treasures. And no matter when you go, you are going to find it's not always the same person, but you're going to find this driver that's going to give you this experience of the culture and people. And it's always so awesome.
Yeah, I actually, it's what's interesting is, I don't think it was like it's necessarily a tourism question. I think it's, if you visited somewhere, you probably enjoyed the culture. You probably enjoyed, the culinary, the overall experience. I think we are very narrow in our thinking because we always think tourism. That just shows that Bermudians have a very unique approach to tourism. Again, I live in Florida, probably the biggest as a state tourist destination in the US. And you ask an everyday Floridian what's tourism, and they wouldn't be able to tell you. Whereas, as I said before, every Bermudian has an understanding of what tourism is. I think I would be looking to learn more about places that Bermuda's losing to, like the Cayman Islands from a business perspective. Switzerland and Luxembourg, right? They look into those places, like what are they doing right to attract big business that Bermuda's not doing? Those are the destinations that are top of mind to me, to really get an idea of, whether it makes sense for a small island like Bermuda to follow suit. But I do agree with you as far as Jamaica. Jamaica's not trouble-free. It's not problem-free. But what I will say is that, Sencha, what she said earlier was spot on. Everyone knows this. Bermuda was it. People came to Bermuda to learn how we did things, right? What tourism, IB, and now all of a sudden they've come and passed us. Part of that is probably because over the last 20 or so years, we haven't had the right people taking us in the right direction. We've had people who have literally rested on their laurels or not been competent enough to take the next steps to move our economy forward. But I just truly believe that Bermuda still has something special about it. There are still opportunities. We just need the right people in the room. Sencha said this over and over and over, to have the right conversations with the right people.
But let me also say this. At what point do we stop saying it's up to tourism? Because a lot of what I said of what I love about Jamaica, their tourism board, they didn't do that for me. It's the people that did that for me, right? They showed me their culture. They showed me, the best. Like at some point, we are gonna have to say, and it's getting back to. And I remember speaking about this a while ago when I first came on the show. I remember going up to what was Fairmont, Southampton. And the bartenders behind the bar, they were truly Bermudian. They gave you history lessons. They taught you about things that I'm Bermudian, and he's telling me about back in the day and up Cedar Hill and different part. You know what I mean? He was giving me history lessons. No disrespect, but recently I've seen like foreigners behind the bar.
They're not giving you no history lessons, Sencha?
No. And it's taken away from our culture and who we are and the experience that we're given to our, our tourists that are coming to Bermuda. It's taken away from it. So we need to figure it out.
Well, I get you.
That's me.
It's evolved and it hasn't evolved in our favor. What's a place you visited that Bermuda would do well to follow? Traveling Trotty says part of Front Street should be pedestrian, having al fresco restaurants and entertainment. We're using prime real estate for parking, makes no sense. Croatia.
Let me say this before we go on quickly. We are using this real estate for parking, but we're also, and I'm sure everybody else is so annoyed, the amount of parking that they're actually taking away just to make bigger sidewalks to put nothing on it. It makes no sense to me. When I tell you, it gets me so annoyed. I'm like, can we please? I mean, even with that, they're taking up the parking spots to put these little wooden, but we need to really do something about this. Like we're an island. We're supposed to be waterfront. We need to develop this.
Ain't Sir John been trying to do something? Anyway, Sam B says Jamaica food, culture, music. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says, I was surprised to see Greece as a response. I thought they had some serious financial issues in recent history. I think, back in the late 2000s, I think you're speaking about. Charles H. Jefferson II says, I love how Jamaica, despite their issues, people still flock there and want and get an authentic experience, even those who may not leave the resort where they are staying. This comment right here is for me. Cherie, it's too much there. But Cherie Dill said, I haven't been here long, but I would say Switzerland has some things Bermuda could follow. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm thinking big business. At the end of the day, tourism, Bermuda definitely needs to do something with it. But I think as far as contributing to the economy like it used to, it just isn't going to do it. But to continue Cherie's comment, they have similar conditions to Bermuda in terms of high cost of living and a large expat population, but the difference is they take care of everyone. They have policies in place that make sure everyone gets paid well. In brackets, I don't think cheap labor exists. I want to stop there, but I want to emphasize that. Anyway, she goes on to say they have maintained cultural pride. Would be good to get local input, but they generally seem happy and content. Interesting. I started off saying I think we have a very narrow mind when we think about what Bermuda could replicate because we're always thinking tourism, right? I'm thinking business. I think I'm thinking Luxembourg. I'm thinking Cayman. And I like what Cherie said because when we speak of Cayman, we always hear about how Cayman has pretty much become almost majority expats, right? And we don't necessarily believe that's the way to go. You want to make sure that Bermudians are not being forced out of their country and not being treated well. So I think, looking at a Luxembourg or Switzerland and places like that, give us different insight than tourism would. But I think from a tourism perspective, I would probably agree with the majority of people and say, comparatively speaking, Jamaica, as far as cultural traditions, but also I haven't visited there, but I'd say based on what we saw about the World Cup, Qatar, I think they held on to their cultural traditions. I mean, they stuck to their guns when it came to alcohol. I mean, we may not agree with everything they do or stand for, but I actually like that they were able to stick to their guns and still, come out and what people said was a very hospitable time there. Well, some people.
I haven't been there, but I hear mixed reviews. I have, you hear some people that are like, it's amazing, it's great, the hospitality, and then you have some people that's like, that it's not a unique experience, So I don't know. I have to venture that way in order to form an opinion.
Have you been to Dubai before?
Yeah. My mom turned me off.
Karen Simmons says Zambia and Greece's adventure tourism, food, music, and cultural experiences is great. The people are very hospitable. We're still on tourism, I see. Traveling Trotty says Cayman Islands does small things such as having the ground agents welcome and say goodbye to residents and visitors on the airplanes. Traveling Trotty says, unfortunately, many of our frontline workers do not know the history of Bermuda, which affects the Bermuda product. Ebony Souza says, Sancha Intrepid offers a small history lesson trying to tie into their name that I found pretty cool. What's Intrepid? Like where Marcus used to be a princess?
Yeah, the restaurant.
And she says, I never thought I'd say this, but I miss the steel pans as our airport welcome. Yo, hated them when they were there, but no, I liked them as well.
I enjoy it.
Redeal says, I think Singapore, that was the one I was thinking of too. I think Singapore is similar also from what I hear. The expat population may be driving up prices in real estate, but they have designated quality affordable housing for locals. Yes, that was another one as well. Again, I want us to think bigger than tourism. I think the purpose, when the questions asked about places visited, I'm thinking business, folks. Like, and I don't want to disrespect tourism, but tourism is a hard thing to make happen for Bermuda right now because of the investment needed. And the truth is, to make someone want to invest in building a hotel in Bermuda right now, you're asking them to pretty much give up making money elsewhere. It's tough. Yeah. It's tough. So I think, we've probably got to think bigger than tourism. It was just this weekend, something reported about the tourism folks getting together about airlines to Bermuda. Did you hear that voice note that was going around last week about people hold on to their dollars because someone just came from a BTA board meeting or something and things are looking bad? Here's the thing with that stuff, right? I don't need to sit in our board meetings and know how bad things are. All you need to do is pay attention. And again, you don't have your biggest hotel in the game. Of course, things aren't going to be great. Of course, things aren't going to be great. I feel for people in the tourism industry in Bermuda. Right now, Bermuda just cannot compete. You're talking about what? Less than 2,000 rooms? That's tough. We're going to take a quick break, come back. And when we come back, we will do the daily play and then, wrap it up and daily inspiration before we send you on. Sancha, you got bullied at BHS?
Absolutely not.
I saw Charles's comment. Awesome.
No, I went to Paget Primary in West End.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And as much as I support West End, I got bullied really bad.
All right. Stick with us, folks. We might hear more about this bullying when we come back.
Oh my goodness.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to One Communications, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Just want to go to these comments real quickly before we do daily play. Karen Simmons says, I can only respond from the tourism perspective as a visitor to the country. Well, if you've visited countries to do business, you can probably have an opinion about business, no? Traveling Trotty says, tourism affects us all. So does our economy. Business affects us all. So, I mean, if we understand the business aspect, then we'd understand it all impacts us all, right? But let's get to the daily play. Time for the daily play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Make sure you're following Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all of that social media stuff, to see why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sancha, are you ready?
I'm ready, but I'm gonna need help today, guys.
All right.
Who said it?
All right, here we go. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb.
Can I have a clue?
Activist turned president.
Nelson Mandela.
Charlie gave it to you. She gave it to you.
Mandela, yeah.
Yeah, it was Nelson Mandela. I think that was from, I'm trying to think. It was from a speech, I want to say. But yes, it was Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, folks. Anyway, let's wrap it up. I mean, let's discussion first. We discussed, what did we discuss this morning? Man, that was
You're
a
making me
web presence. We discussed web presence before we focused on, basically places that Bermuda should replicate.
Yeah. So as I said, when I opened, I feel like web presence is necessary, but I also think that it's a way to market yourself to say, listen, this is who we are, and we don't have a web presence. Come in and enjoy our customer service, and let's have some face-to-face. But I do think that as Bermudians, we tend to be spoiled in many areas. And because we're shopping overseas on a regular basis, we're going online, we're pressing that button, we're expecting the same thing on island, especially when the hours aren't as long as we would like them to be, right? So we want to be able to get what we need in those times that stores aren't open. So, but as Charles was saying, and as you said, like, it's easy as make sure that you're registered with Google. If you don't have a website, at least make sure that you are registered with Google and you go on as a business owner and make sure that all of your information is correct. Because sometimes they'll mess up your location, they'll mess up your hours, and you got people mad standing outside of your location because they got the wrong hours and they sent me somewhere else. So make sure as a business owner, you are going on Google and correcting whatever needs to be corrected and updating your information. And then the second part, as far as what can we learn from other places? we are in a tough space, right? Just all around. I'm waiting for some greatness to come from somewhere. Like we've been in this downward phase for a bit. We have to come up, and we should look at other places to see what they're doing, to see what we can implement to be better. Um, from a tourism perspective, I think it's, as I said, Jamaica is an awesome place, but us as people need to get back to being the people of Bermuda and creating those experiences for people that are visiting. From listening to what Cherie is saying in Switzerland, that's something we need to look at. What's going on, and how do we implement those things to kind of help our country out, not from a tourism perspective, but business as well, right? How do we improve being a better business place?
Yeah, I would say web presence. It doesn't hurt you. It won't hurt you. I mean, unless you're going for a way expensive website. Having a simple website, something that at least shows who you are, what you're about, it's necessary. It's necessary. It doesn't have to be fancy e-commerce, like as if you're selling something. You don't have to overdo it, but at least the bare minimum. As far as jurisdictions that Bermuda would do well to follow that I visited, as I said, from a tourism perspective, I think Jamaica gets it right. From a business perspective, it remains to be seen whether the leadership of Mia Motley in Barbados is the way to go. But I like what they're doing. I do think that she has the right ideas, and I was actually surprised no one said Barbados from a business perspective, because I think people are waiting for the results of all that she's speaking of. Any daily inspiration, Sandra?
I do. If you only have one smile in you, give it to the people you love. And that's Maya Angelou. I found smiles for you guys today. Love you all.
That's crack a smile. Folks, I just want to say, if you appreciated today's conversation and discussion, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, just like, and make sure you share these conversations. I want to say this before we head out. I usually don't watch the NFL or NBA until the playoffs. Well, I checked an NBA game out on Saturday night, the Lakers and Celtics, and basically LeBron James got fouled at the end of the game. They didn't call it, right? Then last night I watched the Chiefs and the Bengals, and again, more crazy calls. And I just said, how is it at the professional level with all this technology, where like human beings are still allowed to make such calls? It makes sports so not fun when you see what I think is blatant cheating happening at the highest level. And I think because people think it happened in the World Cup, the biggest stage of all, it's okay. Get it together, or I'm taking my $2 and I'm not watching sports anymore. Anyway, just wanted to share that. I'm just saying. If you watch sports, you understand what I mean, folks.
You got that out.
Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we really do. We really, really do appreciate you. We love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sancha Durham. I'm Jamel Hartman, my friends. Please do make it a safe and a great Monday. We are out. Peace.